yeah. How are you doing on this special day? Keeping your motivation in a special way.
were gone forth out of the land of Mizraim. The same day came they into the wilderness of Sinai. For they were departed from Rephidim, and were come to the desert of Sinai, and had pitched in the wilderness, and there Yasharel camped before the mountain. And Shemaiah went up unto Elohim, and Yah called unto him out of the mountain, saying, Thus shalt thou say to the house of Yaakov, and tell the children of Yasharel, You have seen what I did unto the Ishmaelites, and how I bore you with eagle's wings, and brought you into myself. Now therefore, if you will obey my voice indeed, and keep my covenant, then you shall be a peculiar treasure unto me, above all people, for all the earth is mine. You shall be unto me a kingdom of priests, and a Kodesh nation. These are the words which thou shalt speak unto the children of Yasharel.
Yah promised he would give us a kingdom. We disobeyed and fell into a syndrome.
We are the sons and daughters of the covenant of Yah.
Yah said in the lands of our captivity, when we return, he will give us liberty. Return back to our land of nativity, kingdom of priests for the whole wide world to see. Oh yeah. Here we go now. Here we go now.
We are the sons and daughters of the covenant of Yah.
Yeah. 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 Oh yeah.
We are the sons and daughters of the covenant of Yah.
We will reign for 1,000 years with him. Kings and priests having God's law with him. We were paid for the trials and tribulations. That's when the world would pay us our full reparations.
Reparations, reparations.
Reparations, reparations.
Reparations, reparations.
Reparations, reparations.
Reparations, reparations.
Reparations, reparations.
Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. All right. Let's see if I can do this here. All right. Okay. All right. Let's see. Um. Oh, I was trying to test my microphone. Let me see if I'm coming through here. Uh. Let's see. Can I get a mic check? Let me see here. I want to. Okay, I think I got it. All right. Okay, let me see. What am I trying to do here? I'm trying to. Let's do this here. Let's just bear with me a second here while I try to navigate this screen here. I want to move this over here. Okay, how do I do that? Okay, there we go. And then what I want to do is want to. Matter of fact, let's just move this over here. Pardon me for a second while I'm trying to set up my. Okay, there we go. Now, so let's do this here. Um, so let's start here. And we got Lion Pride. Shabbat Shalom. Good to see you, my brother. He's greeting everybody. And even those that haven't arrived yet, but he's greeting everybody that he generally knows that will be tuning in. So I say Shabbat Shalom to you too, my brother. And let's see. Also, I want to. He did another greet here. Is that the same? Okay. Boy, I tell you, you got a telegraphic memory to remember everybody's username. Let me see. Here's Lamar, the cool gent. Lamar, Mr. G Man, the cool gent. When I was in Chicago, it was what was a guy named Kent? They called him the cool gent. Coach Sherry, Shabbat Shalom, and those. Let's see. I think that's what I got. That's what I got so far. Okay. But anyway, probably you all had a good week. Um, I had a good week. Getting closer and closer and closer to the end of the road, which is peak. I was looking at my Social Security statements for early retirement. So it's not a lot of money that they want you to wait till you have dead to get the full Social Security amount. And hey, by the time I'm 70, who knows where the Social Security will be? Will it even still be in existence? Who knows? Will it still even be? Warren Josiah from Chicago, he know that. Herb Kent, the cool gent. It takes somebody from Chicago to know that, right? But yeah, Herb Kent, the cool gent. Yeah. So, Social Security might not be around. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and get to the lesson because I got people that have a short attention span. I get comments from people. Why don't you just go straight into the message? I could get smart and say, why don't you send me a super chat and I'll go directly to whatever you want to go to. Send money, like Brother Bowie used to say, send money. Brother Bowie gonna collect them tithes, right? I might have to go back to collecting tithes more with Josiah. Because my retirement, Social Security, I should say, is it's not gonna be much. You know, I mean, for the whole month, I make over that in 1 week. But we'll see how things progress. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and get started. We're gonna talk today about the Moors, right? The Moors, right? The Moors. Okay. I want to kind of be interactive today. Um, if anybody wants to come on online, man, I'm getting a little tongue tied. If anybody wants to come on the live stream, I will. Let's see. Let's do this here. Let's add. Let's put the link here. Um, and anybody want to come? I just want to get some feedback because me and Morray Josiah, we like dinosaurs in this world. We didn't heard and seen it all. When I was in college, a friend of mine used to have a saying. He said, "I done sailed the seven seas and not seen it all." He said, I didn't, I didn't sail the seven seas and I done seen it all." Just bear with me a second. I want to make sure my sound effects are coming through. I done sailed the seven seas and not seen it all. He said, I done sailed the seven seas and I done seen it all. Okay, it's not coming through. It's not coming through. Okay, so what I got to do is, all right, what I got to do is, let me do this right quick. I got to share screens. What I got to do, and let's see, entire screen. I want this one here, and share audio, and share. Now, when I do, uh, uh, now where am I at? I lost myself now. Oh, I see what I did. Okay, there I go. Okay, all right. So this one, this how we gonna do it. Okay, let's try that now. All right. Okay, just bear with me a second. I just want to make sure I'm not. Oh, I see what I did. Just bear with me a second. There I go. Okay. Hang in there. I want my sound effects to come through. This how we gonna do it. Okay. Let's try that now. All right. Okay, we got it. I just want to make sure my sound effect, because that's part of the fun I have with this job. Is I guess I guess I would be considered a volunteer employee with some tips I get from people from time to time on this channel. But anyway, let's see. He said he saved everybody on the Samsung. Oh, you got the 25. I'm that 1% that S Pen users. Oh, okay. Man, you just stepped up the game. You got the 25. They coming out with the 26 now. I'm still stuck in the 23. All right, but be that as it may. So we're gonna go ahead. Here's the link again. If anybody wants to, I want to be interactive real quick, and then before we get into the lesson. So what I want to do is we're gonna talk about these Moors. I was saying that me and Maury and Josiah um have been around, um, and we've seen a lot. Now I do know that the the title of the lesson is the Moors, right? Are the Moors Ishmaelites? And we'll start with that part first. And the second part is, did they sell out the Negroes, right? Okay. So now, here's the thing I want to talk about, right? As we get into this, right? In the conscious community, right? How many of you ever heard of the Moorish scientists, right? Um, Moorish science. Okay, let me see if I can do something real quick, right? Let's share my screen here, and for those of you that are new to, let me hide this right quick. For those of you that are new, you've never heard of more science. So I'm gonna kind of educate, bring you up to speed, so you can kind of be on the page where we are. Okay. So what I want to do is, let's blow this up right quick, and I want to, uh, let's do it this way. There we go. That's better. Okay. And then I want to go Moorish science, Temple of America. Okay, there we go. Moorish Science, Temple of America. Okay. Let's just go to the web guide. I'm not going to go to Wikipedia. Okay. Web guide says here, the Moorish Science Temple of America is an American national and religious organization founded in 1913 by Noble Drew Ali, born Timothy Drew, based on the premise that African Americans are descendants of the Moabites and are the Moorish by nationality and Islamic by faith. Ali's doctrine promoted personal transformation throughout historical education, racial pride, and spiritual uplift, aiming to provide African Americans with identity and civic involvement. Right. So, Maureen Josiah, is that statement accurate to the best of your knowledge about who the Moors are? This statement here, okay? Because we do know there's a great debate going, and that debate is whether or not um, the Nation of Islam, or I should say, yeah, it was before the Nation of Islam, it was the Muslim movement that started with Fard, the Mahdi, as they call him, Fard Muhammad. He came before Elijah Muhammad, who was Louis Farrakhan's teacher. He always, the Honorable Louis Farrakhan, senior father. um, and so I don't want to get off too deep into historical dynamic, but one thing I will say is that I learned in my, which is this is going to be in in one of my books that I'll be able to start finalizing the books in my retirement season starting this spring. Okay. So I'll be able to start finalizing some of those books. All right. But anyway, so bringing the Moors dynamic into play, we seen a lot of branching away from the Israelite movement. Started back in Chicago, where uh, the history between the Nation of Islam and the Hebrew Israelites have a semi-unified history that branched out. One of the elders was telling us that um, Elijah Muhammad, the founder of the Nation of Islam, he used to be with uh, a man going back by the name of Lucius Casey, way back in the early Hebrew Israelite awakening movement in the Midwest region, Chicago, right? Now, before there was a Nation of Islam, right, there was a Moorish Science Temple of America, right? And they practiced predated predated the Nation of Islam. Okay. So now from the dynamic, so we're connecting the Moors, right? So what has been stated, let me bring it back up on the screen. What has been stated is that the Moorish science, right, was founded in 1913, right? Now, let me just kind of see if I can get the mathing, right? Okay. So we do know that Elijah Muhammad, right? Let me see. Let me see if I can pull him up real quick. So just kind of go with me for a minute while we kind of learn a little something on the way to learn something. So Elijah Poole, I think they call him Elijah Poole, right? Okay. Uh okay, he was born 1897, right? Let me put up on the screen so you can see Elijah Poole according to our sources here. So there's a young picture of him right there. How about that? Look at that. So he was born in Sandersville, Georgia in 1897. Now, what is the connection between a lot of these movements? When I was talking to one of the elders in Chicago, he was letting us know that a lot of the people came from the South, came north to get away from that Jim Crow uh, slavery and oppression, right? So a lot of them moved north, right? So Elijah Muhammad was born 1897. Now this is not a teaching. This is not a teaching, right, of the history of Elijah Muhammad. But I want to say, I was looking at something here. Okay, so look right here if you see this here. It says Elijah Muhammad was an American religious leader who led the Nation of Islam from 1933 until his death, right? So he started in 1933. So the point I'm trying to make here is this, right? Okay. All right. Before you had a Nation of Islam, right? You had Moorish science, right? That started with Noble Drew Ali, right? So we're connecting the dots because we want to show you who are the Moors. Now, what Noble Drew Ali teaches or taught, I should say. Let me put him up on the screen so you can see a picture of him. Uh, let's see. They had that link has a website. Let me see. Let me pull this up on the screen real quick so you can see. Okay. All right. Since we are in our Black history, so we're bringing all this together, right? Okay. Now you see here. This is the Moorish um, American or Moorish science, right? Now here's the thing I want to add to this, right? There, this is for my brother. He likes to do stuff like this, right? This is his calling. Uh, Truth Unedited. Okay. Noble Drew Ali, who was the founder, right, of this. They got a star over here on the flag. I don't know how many, I don't know if they are actively practicing, but they have a strong history with Freemasonry. Okay. Um, what I want to do, let's bring this back on the screen. Okay. This was unrehearsed, so I'm kind of winging this right here. I wanted to, so the more science. Okay, let's leave that there. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna open another tab because I want to come back to this in a minute. Okay, so the Moors, I want to know, was Noble Drew Ali a Mason? See, somebody already asked the question. I'm asking it too. He was 16, 1902 when he left the U.S. and was 5 years too young to join the Masonic Lodge. Noble Drew Ali and Freemasonry. Okay, all right. Sources offer conflicting. See, that's why I don't like to tell you, mislead you, because I before I made the statement, I wanted to make sure. But I do know they have a lot of the symbolisms of Freemasonry in the organization from its inception. But this source says here, this is a web guide. Sources offer conflicting views on whether Noble Drew Ali was a Freemason. Some suggest he was a high degree Freemason and a Shriner, incorporating Masonic symbols and teachings into the Moorish Science Temple of America, while others argue he was too young to officially join a Masonic lodge at one point or too angelic to be made a Mason later in life. Okay, so you can flip the coin a couple different ways, but so there are debates about whether he was a Freemason. I do know that the symbolisms of Freemason uh, early on when I first came in contact with them were very strong. Shabbat Shalom, Elias, don't get to see my brother. They were very strong amongst the Moorish science Noble Drew Ali movement, right? But for the fact of the teaching, they were the first black, quote unquote, Muslims in America before the Nation of Islam. Okay. So and there has been an ongoing debate between them and whether or not they are the original Muslims. But going back to what I read here, which is accurate, it said Moorish Science Temple of America is an American national religious organization founded in 1913 by Noble Drew, based on the premise that African Americans are descendants of the Moabites. So that's the piece that I wanted to address right here. We are not descendants of the Moabites. Okay. The other piece is that historically, Can we say that the Moors are Moabites? Is there proof anywhere that the Moors were Moabites? Okay. Now let's bring the scriptures in this picture here, right? So what I want to do is, where did the Moabites come from, right? Okay. So let's do this. Let's open up our scriptures. And I want to let's go to Moabite first. We're going to go to the first occurrence. Okay. Okay. Moab. Moab. Okay. So if we go to Genesis, right? If we go to Genesis, and now, so listen, we're going to learn today, right?
We're going to learn today.
Because some Israelites that don't have any knowledge, right, just have been educated in what they have been pushed or informed by their leaders, the camp leaders, etc. Right. So we're going to show you from a biblical dynamic that we're not Moors, we're not Moabites, right? Okay. From the biblical dynamic, since we're in this Black History season, right? I got cousins and loved ones, they jump on the bandwagon. We all are Moors. No. From the information that we read, if the Moors are the Moabites, we're going to show you from the biblical dynamic who the Moabites are. And then we're going to show you from a historical dynamic that the Moabites, some of the Moors are Moabites, right? But it's not an exclusive term for Moab. Okay. Now, with that said, let's go further. Okay. So let's go back to the scriptures here. And how many of you are familiar with the story of Lot's children? Told I about for that Lion Pride. I'm gonna have to give Lion Pride the mic. He trying to take the lesson. That's good, though. So Lot, right? You know the story. We're not gonna read that, but what I want to show you is that Lot. It says, verse 30, went up out of Zor and dwelt in the mountains, and his two daughters, and with him, for he feared to dwell in Zor, and he dwelt in a cave, he and his two daughters, right? Verse 31, the first daughter, the firstborn, said to younger, our father is old, and there is not a man in the earth to come in unto us after the manner of all the earth. Come, let us make our father drink wine, and we will lie with him, that we may preserve seed of our father. Ew. That's where I need that little sound effect where the little kids say, ew. They said, come, let us lie with our father, right? That we would save seed, right? All right. Preserve seed of our father, right? 33. And they made their father drink wine that night, and the firstborn went in and lay with her father, and he perceived not when she lay down, nor when she rose. They got him drunk real good. You know, when she got up and left. Look, how many times have y'all ever, when we were younger, when we did some dumb stuff, you got drunk and you was in the hotel and you woke up and looked next to you like, wow, how did you get here? That's what happened a lot. They got him drunk. in the cave in the dark. Sister like, we got to get dad drunk so we can have some childrens by him, right? So that's what happened. You know, the Bible is the Bible is such a juicy book. All you gotta do is read stuff stories from. You could actually make motion pictures of these stories and make a lot of money because people don't know these stories exist, right? Only those of us that spend time reading it. Okay, so Lion Pride, what you moving? Oh, that's right. He went back to Washington. You still in you went back to Washington, right? Still in Washington. Okay, all right. So yeah, so she said they said let us make him drunk. So they laid with him, right? He didn't know when it came when they left, right? Anyway, so they made the father drink wine that night also, and the younger one arose and lay with him, uh, and he perceived not when she lay down nor when she arose, right? Thus were both the daughters of Lot with child by their father, right? Okay. Firstborn bore a son and called his name Moab, right? So Moab is there you go right there. Moab, right, is the beginning of the Moabites, right? By Lot, right? So Lot is the father of the Moabites, right? Now, interesting, right? We're not even going to bring Ammon on the picture, but what I want to point out is that Moab, if Moab is the father of the so-called African Americans, this shows you how weak that thought is, right? If Moab is the father, as we read in that definition, and to all my loved ones who have co-signed for that, are you saying that we didn't exist before Moab? Because if Moab is the father of the African Americans, we all are Moors. What were we before Lot? So therefore, by default, we can't be, right? First off, we would be children of incest. If we are Moabites / Moors, we would be children of incest. We're not the children of incest. Polygyny? Yes. Incest? No. Yah wasn't having it. Okay. Matter of fact, the book of the law goes totally against ancestral relationships. That's why the two daughters had to get him drunk, right? So now, Moab had seed, right? Now let's go to Psalms 85, Psalms 83, right? And let's kind of gravitate a little to the Moors. Okay. Um, verse 6, Psalms 83, verse 6 says, the tabernacles of Edom, the tabernacle will be the dwelling place, right? Okay. The dwelling place of Edom, Ishmael, and Moab, and the Hagarenes, right? Now, I believe that those people Edom, Ishmael, Moab, and Hagarenes are the Moors. A combination of them and intermixing with the Hamites, which gives you um, the Arab mix, right? Okay. I got my Shabbat fly. He's laying on my camera. He's he's kind of distracting me, but I'm gonna keep going. Okay. So Edom, Ishmael, Moab, and Hagarenes are together in Psalms 83 and 6. I believe, and throughout the course of this Black history, we're going to prove to you that these are the ones, right, that assisted, empowered, enabled co-conspirators of the Confederacy with the sons of Japheth, or as Maury Josiah says, Japhat. Okay? Now, let's kind of do a little education right quick. So let's move to another segment. I want to start with a definition, right, for Moors. Okay. I'm going to give you a link, and this is a link to the oldest dictionary. Some of y'all are used to Noah Webster, right? 1828. We gonna go beyond Noah. Cause see, Noah Webster wasn't the first English dictionary.
What you bringing to the table, brother?
That's right. So now I'm gonna give you this link, and you're gonna have this. And anybody come at you and say, brother, Noah Webster's the old dictionary. No, tell them no. You got receipts. Okay. So here's the link right here to Samuel um, Samuel Jackson's Dictionary of the English Language. So what I want to do, I already have it open here. Let's see. Okay. Where am I at here? Right here. Okay. I have it open already. Matter of fact, let's just do this here. I gave out a link. I'll just go to that page I gave you so I make sure we're on the same page. All right. Okay. Now, we're going to look at this definition for more. Hey, Shabbat Shalom Digital. Good to see you, my brother. Good to see you. Pray all's well with you on this blessed Shabbat. And Maury Josiah said Florida was cold yesterday. You back in the 70s yet? Let me see. Who is this? Alan Talbert. 100. Hallelujah. All right. Now, so let's go further. Okay, so more, right? So what we learned so far is that according to the Moorish Science Temple of America, right, in the historical dynamic, right, it is believed that the Moors are the Moabites, and we are descendants of the Moors or the Moabites. And we are going to show you that now that term Moor is not an exclusive term for Moab. Okay, so let's go to Samuel Jackson's dictionary on Moor. Okay, now okay, Samuel Jackson under Moore, right here. Let's see if I can zoom this in a little bit so you all can see. So I can see. Okay. So right here, this is on page 159, right? You all have the link. I gave you the link, right? Okay. And under meaning two, it says Morris, right? Maurus. Morris, right? Morris, it says Latin, right? Latin, we're gonna look at that in a minute. A Negro, right? A black, a Moor, right? Okay. So far we have a definition for Moor, which is defined as a blackamoor or as a Negro, right? So now I can see why we could have confusion to think that, oh, that's our ancestors. I can see why it could be a confusion because of the definition of the word more. Okay? So, in other words, because the definition says more is a Negro, right? Now, those that want to try to say that the Moors weren't black, right? They in denial, right?
You're gonna learn today.
The Moors, the definition of the word Moor from the beginning is from the Latin word, right? Morris, right? Which means a Negro or a blackamoor, right? A black amour. Okay. So those two terms are synonymous. Okay. Now, let's go. I'm going to give you another link. So we're going to leave that one and we're going to go to a blackamoor. Okay. So here's the link to blackamoor. Click on that link. If you have a computer, it's a good idea for you to download that and save it because who knows how long the information is going to be remain available. One time they had shut archives down. We was busting them wide open with documentaries. I mean documents and archived books. Busting them open. Me, Dante Fortson. Uh, we used to use Google, and I guess we overloaded Google. And they started putting stuff on archive.org. So now click that link there, and we're going to go and we're going to look at a blackamoor. Okay. Right. Now, see if I can zoom this in here. All right. Let's go. Let's zoom it in. Okay. Now, you should be able to see right here. It says black amour, right? A black amour from black and more. How about that? From black and more. Okay. Black amour from black and more. A man by nature of a black complexion, a Negro. Woo! So when anybody try to tell you that a Moor is not black, blacker than black, blackety black, talk black to me. I need to clip that out from Vicky Dillard. Talk black to me just for the season. Talk black to me, right? So by definition, we learned that more is a reference to a black person, aka a Negro. Okay, so we can see why there is confusion as to the Moors being the ancestors of the African American by way of the definition. Well, we're going to amplify this bad boy. We're going to put the magnifying glass on. And we're gonna amplify it. Okay, now, so with that said, the blackamoor. Once again, let's bring it back up on the screen. The blackamoor, from black and more, a man by nature of a black complexion. And just in case you not quick clear, it says a Negro. Okay. It says they are more afraid of a blackamoor or a lion than of a nurse or a cat. And now, right beneath that, you see blackberry. Okay. Hmm. Interesting. I'm going to move right along. Okay. So that's blackamoor, right? So we go from more to blackamoor, right? Now, in the definition, now if we let's go back to more, because now we're going to amplify it a little further. So go back to this link here to more, and we're going to take it to the next level. Okay. So we're going to go back to this word more, and we see something else added in that kind of helps us to comprehend um, who a more is, right? Okay, now, so under meaning two, it says Morris, right? Look at that. Let's zoom that in. It says Morris, right? Morris, right? It says Morris is Latin, Latin for Negro. Okay, so Negro is Spanish. Negrito is a late Latin, I guess, of Negrito, right? I guess it's an English transliteration. I guess you could say, where you get Negro from come to Negrito, right? But in early Latin, they use the term more, right? So in ancient days, you won't see black. You'll see more for anybody that is dark complected, right? All right. Now, so we're going to go a step higher, right? So I'm going to give you another link, right? And this link is going to take us to the throne. So we're going to look at this word Morris, right? Okay. So here's another link. You want to click this link. You want to download it and save it, because this is a dictionary of the English language, right? And let me do it again. This is a dictionary, it's a complete English, Latin, and Latin English dictionary, right? That was a tongue twister there. Let me say it again. A complete English, Latin, and Latin English dictionary. One more time. A complete English, Latin, and Latin English dictionary, right? So now, he told us Morris. So let's see if I can zoom in here. Let's zoom it in. And we're looking for this word Morris, right? Morus. I went past it. Mor. Wait, hold on. Here we go. Morus right here. So can y'all see that right here? Morris. This is AUM, whatever that is. I don't know what that is. It says AUM for Morris. Maurus. Or Mauritania. Or the Moors. Right? So now we go from English, right, to Latin, right, to define that the Moors come from Morris, right, of Mauritania, right? So Moors, the terminology started with the Latins and Morris of Mauritania. That takes it even a step further. So we can't be all of us from Morris of Mauritania because we've already proved to you that Moab is not Moor, is not synonymous with Moor, right? But Moor is synonymous with black, Negro, dark complexion, but it has an origin with a specific person by the name of Morris. Okay, we're going to cover it in a minute. So Morris is of Mauritania, or the Moors, dark colored, black, hence. Morum, okay, a mulberry, also a blackberry. That goes that blackberry, right? So now that's interesting, right? Little side note. How many of y'all old enough to remember blackberry? How many of y'all old enough to remember blackberry? It was a black, you know, when they came, they used to have the pagers. This go way back for y'all time. After the pagers, they came out with a thing called the BlackBerry, where you two fingers, you typing, texting with two fingers, right? You're clicking. I mean, some of the sisters in corporate America, they can work that BlackBerry. I was never a BlackBerry fan, but the BlackBerry, right, was named after Blackamoor.
What you bringing to the table, brother?
But they want to tell you that everything black is bad, right? Okay. So now let's go back in here. So we go back to Morris of Mauritania, or the Moors, dark colored black, right? So the Latins, so according to the Latins, right, the Moors were black people. Why this is important? Because people like Vocab Malone, with his undereducated self about us, or just simply in denial, want to say that all the people in North Africa wasn't black, right? We're going to prove them wrong. Okay. All right. So now we're showing you that Morris, right, of Mauritania is where that term Moors originated, right? Moors. Okay. So Moors for Morris or Mauritania or the Moors, dark colored or black, right? Now, I'm going to give you another link. And have you ever heard of, right? Have you ever heard of the kingdom of Mauritania? I'm going to do a Dante Forson on y'all now. If you've heard of Mauritania, the kingdom of Mauritania, press 1. If you have not heard of Mauritania, press 2. Okay. Now, Moors is a descriptive of this man we just identified, right? called Morris. He was the first one that the Latins identified with the Negroes. Right? Now, did I give you the link? I clicked the link, but I didn't give it to you. Let's do it again. All right. Okay, let's go here to this link. And okay. I want to make sure I keep some of these tabs open because I might go back to them. Okay, here we go. So this is World History Encyclopedia, right? We know it's true because it's written by them. Okay. Mauritania, it says. Mauritania was an ancient kingdom in northwest Africa, right? So somebody please tell somebody please tell somebody please go wake up Mocab Malone and tell him he's being paid because he's going to get some education. He's going to learn today.
You're going to learn today.
North Africa didn't have Caucasian white inhabitants. We're going to connect the Bible. We're going to read this, and we're going to connect the Bible, the scriptures, with this to prove that this historical dynamic proves that the people in North Africa were not Caucasian white people.
What you bringing to the table,
All right.
brother?
So let's go back in. Let me see. Before I go further, let me see. Did the color brown not exist back then? Why is black always a description of the dark people? I just don't understand that. My skin tone is brown and not black like coal. You already know the answer to that. I guess that was a rhetorical question. But the narrative of black versus white is the reason why. Okay. All right. In a nutshell, without me going into any extensive explanation, right? Now, so back to the link. Okay, here we go. Y'all ready? So Mauritania was an ancient kingdom. Woo, turn this heat down. Was an ancient kingdom in northwest Africa, encompassing regions of modern-day Morocco, Algeria, although it shares a name with modern country of Mauritania, they do not overlap. Ancient Mauritania was named after Mauri, or Moors, a Berber tribe that inhabited the region, right? Okay, here we go. Let's see, they got a map here. Okay, here we go. Can y'all see that map? Okay. So this here, this connects with two books that come to mind, which we'll probably open those books up in this season, in this series, multiple times if we don't get to it today. Okay, so two books come to mind right when I look at this map, right? There's one book called hold on a second. I think I have that link open somewhere here. Here it is. Okay. This book here, I'll come back to it in a second, but this book here, this is Africa being an accurate. Okay, hold on a second. Africa being an accurate description, right, Let me move this out the way. Okay. Africa being an accurate description, right, of all of those names, right? Okay. So that's number one, right? The second reference we're going to read in this series, maybe not today, is Leo Africanus' book, right? Where he details, right, an eyewitness in the 1400s, right, prior to the Ottoman Turks invasion.
What you bringing to the table, brother?
The people he saw, the customs they practice, and all that above, right? Anacalyptus, we're going to bring that into the picture. There's another book called Anacalyptus, right? Not today. We'll bring it in probably next week. Okay. All right. So let's go back to the map so you can see that region, right? I would love to be able to zoom this up. Download full size image. Are they going to charge me to do that? Let me see. Okay, wait a minute. They let me. Okay. Wait, they let me download it. All right. Praise Yah. Let's do that then. I'm glad. I'm glad about it. Shabbat Shalom, brother Dookie Dollars. Good to see you, my brother. Thanks for coming on. We know y'all missed it last Shabbat. Brother Dollars came on at the end. Came on the camera. All right. Okay, now. Let's do this here. Okay. Let's look at this map, right? Now, you can see the map here. Let me move myself out the way here. Okay. All right. So, this we see I don't know if you all can hear me or not. I know I took myself out the equation. So I'm not sure if because by me taking myself out the equation you can still hear me or not. Okay, hold on a second. Let me just make sure I'm still being come through. Okay. Okay, I got it. Okay, I'm still coming through. All right. Okay. Now look at the map here, right? So you have Roman rule in North Africa from 146 BCE to 395 CE, right? All of this, right? You have descendants of Ham, right? You have, let's bring the scripture in. Let's bring the scripture in the picture here. Okay, let me bring the scriptures in. Right. Remember last week we came and we read from Numbers 24:24. So let's bring that into the picture. Numbers 24:24. Okay. And where we read this here, right? It says, it started at 23. He took up this parable and said, let me back up for a second. This all is very relevant to who the people are in this North American region, in addition to, right? So it says here, he looked on the Kenites and took up his parable and said, strong is thy dwelling place, and thou puttest thy nest in a rock. All right. Now, y'all gotta listen to what I'm about to say because
You're going to learn today.
there are two people now, that we know that scripture says that they planted their nests in the rock. One being Esau, and now we see another person here, right, putting his nest in a rock. In that whole region, right, that terminology Mori comes from mountain dwelling African Edenic Hebrew descendants, because that's who Moab is, right? He's a Hebrew descendant from Eber, right? The Epher, descendants of Abraham and his wife Keturah, they're there, right? Ishmael, right? His mother originated in North Africa, Mizraim, and then Hagar, historically, from the historical dynamic, had married again and had other children called the Hagarites. They lived in North Africa, right? So now he's saying the Kenites, right? Okay, now we got that. Let's go back. Go back in. So now Numbers 21:24 says the Kenites, and take up this parable and say, strong is thy dwelling place, thou that put thy nest in a rock. Nevertheless, the Kenite shall be wasted, right? Okay, who's the Kenite? Right? It says Cain, the name of the first child, also of a place in Palestine. Okay. Now, look, I don't want to give y'all too much at one time, but America, being an accurate description, told us that Esau, right, red, Eritrea, and the combination of him intermingling with these people took a terminology called Phoenician. Okay. Those are your Tyre, right? Okay. I know I'm giving y'all a lot, but you might want to play this over and again, right? And also, if you want to know references, we've covered this over and over again during our Black series prior to this. Okay, but anyway. So let's go back in here. So the Kenites shall be wasted until Asher, right? Asher shall carry thee away captive. So what happened? What happened here, brother? The Kenites, right, were carried away captive. Now let's just kind of do this real quick before we go further. I want to dig a little deeper into this Kenite thing, right? So Kenite, Kenite. Okay. Let's go. Let's put the S on it. Okay. Now, why is the Kenite important? Okay, we're gonna come back to Numbers 24. Let's go to Genesis 15 real quick. Okay, I want to show you something real quick. Okay. It said, verse 17 says, it came to pass that when the sun went down, it was dark, behold, smoking furnace and burning lamp that passed between those pieces. In the same day, Yah made a covenant with Abram, saying, unto thy seed have I given this land from the river of Mizraim unto the great river Euphrates. The Kenites, right? There goes the Kenites, right? The Kenizzites, the Kadamites, the Hittites, the Perizzites, the Rephaites, Amorites, Canaanites, Gergesites, and Jebusites, right? Right. So there you have it, right? So why that's important is because when we go back to Numbers 21:21, it said that Assyria would take the Kenites into captivity. Where did they take the Kenites? They took them into Africa, right? They took them into North Africa, the territory that we just showed you on the map. Now let's go back to Numbers 24:24 so we can we could bring this back home. And I'm gonna come back on the screen with the map. So let's look at 24 and 23 said, and he took up his parable and said, alas, who shall live when Yah does this? So remember, he said, Asher will carry away the Kenite or the Canaanites captive. So amongst those who dwell in North Africa, aka Barbary states, aka Bilodegred, aka Mauritania, right? All of that. You have a conglomeration of African, Edenic, or dark-skinned people that are called Moors. They're all not from the same tribe, right? They're all not from the same tribe. Okay, let's go back in here, all right? So he says, so who shall live when the Most High does this, right? The ships shall come from the coast of Chittim, which Chittim is the father of, watch this now, the Greeks, the Romans, and the Spanish. Chittim is the father of the Romans and Greeks, right? And cousins, I should say, to the Spanish, right? Or Yavon. Yavon is the father of Kittim, Dodanim, Tarshish, right? Okay. I want to correct myself because I don't know nobody saying, brother, you said that Spanish came from Chittim. Correction. They're cousins. But they are Latino, so a lot of them ended up intermingling, interbreeding with the Greeks, Romans, the Latinos. That's where you get Latin from. Latinus. Okay, now. So go back in here. So he says what? He says, the ship shall come from the coast of Kittim. See, the ships are coming from the coast of Kittim. It didn't say Kittim was the only one, right? But it said that the ships shall come from the coast of Rome and Greece and shall afflict Asher, right? So remember, Asher took the Kenites captive, right? And the ships came and afflicted Asher and Eber. And he also shall perish forever, right? See that? So now, I'm going to do this because it's in my thought, right? I'm going to save that. I'm not going to do that. I was going to go somewhere. I'm going to save that because I'm already giving out too much. I don't want to confuse the matter. Okay, so now, so with that said, so we have to comprehend the map. Let's go back to the map. Okay, so where's my map at here? Okay. So now we see the map. This map here is full of people, right? A mixture, because this became the Roman rule. So when the Romans came into power, right? The Romans started enslaving, right? Asher, the Kenites, right? And the Hebrews. So when you lump the Hebrews, Eber, you gotta add them all in the equation. Everybody that came from the loins of Eber are now in North Africa by way of Chittim. Okay? Enslaved. After the Roman Empire fell, they got freedom, right? Now, So this territory here is all of this is inclusive of Mauritania, not just simply Morocco, as he said, but all of this. Okay. Now, you see your province boundary, you got Africa. Oh, you know what? The map is not on the screen. Sorry about that. You got, let me take myself out the equation here. You got the province 42 CE, Africa, was that Proconsularis? Okay, originally Africa 146 BC and Africa Nova. So you got Numidia, Militia. Okay, all of that, man. See that? So all of this territory, um, for the purposes of the urban or Christian apologists who want to make you believe that these were Caucasoid people, according to prophecy, these people that was taken here were Eber and Asher, right? They were Eber and Asher. Eber, Asher, and add to the mix the Canaanites, right? Because they weren't from Eber, but they was taken into captivity, right? So in that territory, you have Chittim, Asher, Eber, right? That's right. Brother Dallas added something to the equation. That's right. That's right. That's right. I'm gonna tell you something, Brother Dallas. You remember? I don't know if you remember when I first read that. I like to fell out of my chair when I saw that because I was like, "Wow." Matter of fact, let's go ahead and read that. Ezekiel 27:13. Then we're gonna get back. Okay, Ezekiel 27:13. All right, 27:13. It says Yavon, Tubal, right? Meshach, they were the merchants. They traded the purses of men and vessels of brass in thy market, right? So you got Yavon, which is your Greeks and your Romans, Tubal, which is your Spanish people, right? And I forget who Mosheki. I think those are Germanic people, I want to say. Mosheki. Okay. But there you have it right there. So Brother Dallas nailed it, right? He nailed it, right? Brother Dallas nailed it. Okay. So the people, for clarity, that were in the northern area in the territory that they call the Mauritania Kingdom, right, was a mixture of Eber, Asher, and Ham, right? Now, let me go back to where do I want to go back to? I'm going to go back to the article. So let's see, where am I at here? Got too much open up here. Okay. Let's read this right here. This is part of the map I just showed you. So let's read it real quick. It says this map illustrates the scope of administrative organization of the Roman province in North Africa from the initial conquest in 146 BCE to their full integration into the empire. Following the destruction of Carthage at the end of the Third Punic War, Rome began establishing provinces across the Maghreb, shaping a region that would become central to empire's economy and stability. From the formation of Africa proconsulars is what is now Tunisia and western Libya, to the later provinces of Mauritania, Caesareus and Mauritania, Tingtana in modern Algeria and Morocco. Roman North Africa flourished between 2nd century BCE and 4th century CE, rich in grain, olive oil, and trade. Wealth, these provinces were among the most productive in the empire. The map also reflects the layered provincial governance system ranging from the senatorial provinces to imperial territories, highlighting Rome's sophisticated approach to maintaining distant yet economically vital lands, right? Now let's go back. Okay, so he goes on to say, so Mauritania was an ancient kingdom. We showed you the map in Northwest Africa, comprising regions of modern-day Morocco, Algeria, although it shares a name with the modern country of Mauritania, but they do not overlap. Ancient Mauritania was named after Mauri, or Moors, a Berber tribe that inhabited the region, right? Now, this word Berber, we're going to go there in a second. Okay, Mauritania was a highly productive region that produced grain, olives, marble, timber, and livestock. The coasts of Mauritania were famous for producing Tyrrhenian purple. I wonder where we see purple at, somewhere in the historical dynamic. Purple. We read about this place that produced purple in the end time. A snail-based red dye that was highly prized in antiquity, right? Could it be that that purple is the purple or the color of the fringes? I've heard some points about that. I'm going to leave that alone, though. Under Rome rule, it was divided into Western and Eastern territory named Mauritania and Mauritania Caesaristis, respectively. These provinces exported food to the Roman Empire during antiquity until they were conquered by who? The Vandals. The Vandals in the 5th century CE. So the Vandals, that's where you get your Caucasian white presence. Not in the not it not not in the Moors, in the Vandals. The Vandals and the Scandals. Right? Okay, now. So this Berber thing, let me read a little further, then we can go to the Berber part. Let's go back in here some more. It says some of the earliest inhabitants of Mauritania were the Caspian culture. What's the Caspian culture? Afro-Asiatic speakers. How many of y'all ever heard of the terminology Afro-Asiatic? Afro-Asiatic speakers. See, I remember a couple of years ago we did a teaching that technically, even though we don't use the terminology Asia, we are Asian originally. And when I say Asian, see, most people, their mind goes to China and the Chinese and Japan. No. That's why the terminology Afro-Asiatic exists, because they were Asiatic people, as brother Elias Chicago says. They were Asiatic people with afros. There's a book that I shared in one of our sharings. I think it was the book entitled It Began in Babel. And he says that Asia was the cradle or the birthplace of the Negro. Let's go back in. All right. So, some of the earliest inhabitants of Mauritania were a Caspian culture, Afro-Asiatic speakers who spread westwards from the area between the Red Sea and Nubia Nile through the northern Sahara around 9000 BCE. Originally hunter-gatherers, this culture began to domesticate cattle, sheep, and goats by 7000 BCE. These peoples reached Mauritania by the 6th millennium BCE. In addition to raising livestock, right, they also cultivated some crops like wheat and olives. Between the 3rd and 2nd millennium BCE, the Proto-Berbers began to spread across North Africa and Sahara, okay, changing the linguistic and cultural landscape. Maori, a group of Berber tribes living north of Sahara, were the primary inhabitants of Mauritania. Let me say that again, right? The Maori, a group of Berber tribes living north of the Sahara, were primarily the inhabitants of Mauritania in classical antiquity. The name Maori might originally derive from the Punic word meaning Westerner. To the east, they were bordered by the, whatever this word is, Masli, Masesili, and Masesili of Numidia in later periods. Everything west of Numidia and north of the Sahara was called Mauritania. Isn't that what I said? Say it again. Everything west of Numidia and north of the Sahara was called Mauritania.
What you bringing to the table, brother?
So therefore, we can see so far that this Moor title is not exclusive title to any specific tribe, but it's a descriptive term for people that were dark complected that sojourned in the North Africa region that they labeled Mauritania.
What you bringing to the table, brother?
And Africa being an accurate description, right, details that. And so does Leo Africanus in his book. Okay. Discoveries of Africa, I think it's called. Description of Africa. Okay. That's right. Brother, that's right.
Am I right?
That's right. The whole continent was Afro-Asian. Them heathens tried to dig a canal to separate the continents. Sure enough. True enough, sure enough. Okay. All right. Ooh. Where was that? Okay, let's go back in here. All right. The Maori were originally into clans ruled by chieftains. Some of the Maori lived a semi-nomadic pastoral lifestyle, producing goods such as wool, hide, leather, milk, and meat. Others had settled into agricultural communities, especially on the coastal plains in the north of the country. By the 4th BCE, they were united in a tribal federation. The kingdom of Mauritania, ruled by a hereditary monarch, developed out of a federation. Despite this political development, the clan chieftains may have continued to be important political actors during this classical period. By the late 3rd century BCE, Mauritania was as powerful as Numidia. That's what they don't want you to know. Now, there's more in this, but I'm going to go back to the Berbers in a minute. Okay, so let's see what I think I hear. Here we go. Oh, they're bringing it home. They're bringing it home. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that.
Look at this. Somebody come look at this. Look at this. Somebody come and look at this. Look at this.
All right. Okay. Oh, I had to do that. Okay. Between the Phoenicians and the Sahara, Mauritania's location enabled its inhabitants to trade with both the Mediterranean and Sahara. The Maori traded ivory, precious stones, and animal hides to the Phoenicians, right? So remember now, oh, west of Mauritania. Okay, right. I see what you're saying. I had to look further into that, Maury Josiah, what the statement said there. So, west of Numidia. Okay, I had to look at the map and see. Okay, all right. Okay. Um, so it says Mauritania enabled inhabitants to trade with both Mediterranean. What I was saying was, so we read that in Ezekiel 37, right? Prophecy, right? Prophecy, and we see prophecy being fulfilled and connected with history, right? When the Most High says something, as I was sharing with my brother-in-law the other day. Me, Moray Josiah, we from the old school, right? We show you what the book prophesied, right? And in modern times now, the Most High have allowed knowledge to increase to where we can now point to an event, right? That is a fulfillment of the prophecy that the Most High said. So now we can see through history, through receipts and references, that what was spoken came into fruition, right? So we see this right now. Let's go back into it. So we see between the Phoenicians and Sahara. So there goes your Tyre, right? What have you to do with your Tyre and Sidon? Let's bring that in the picture. That's Joel 3, right? Okay, Joel 3, real quick. I'm gonna come back. Let's blow it up. Okay. So what have you to do with me? Here we go, right here. Yes, and what have you to do with me, O Tyre, or Tyre, Sor, and Zidon, and all the coast of Palestine? Right? Right? Okay. Now let's go back. Let me see. So Mauritania enabled its inhabitants to trade with both Mediterranean and Saharan Africa. Mari traded ivory, precious stones, and animal hides to the Phoenicians, who established port cities like Tingis, Tanger, and Lixus on the coast of Mauritania. Okay. Though relatively distant from Carthage, Maury and Numidians sometimes appear in Carthaginian army as mercenaries or allied troops, and Maury had long-standing cultural and economic ties to the Iberian Peninsula and close relationship with the Phoenician city of Cadiz. Looking south, the Maori were able to import goods like ostrich eggs and amber from the tribes living in the Sahara. They also imported gold, probably from either Spain or West Africa. Okay, all right. This. They got more stuff here. I'm going to go back, and I want to visit this Berber part right here, because this part right here. Um, so the Berbers. Here we go. Berbers. Okay. It said the Berbers have occupied North Africa, specifically the Maghreb, since the beginning of recorded history and until the Islamic conquest of the 8th century CE constituted the dominant ethnic group in the Sahara region. Modern Berber speakers and cultural practitioners are a minority in North Africa, though Berber groups are considered the descendants of the pre-Arab inhabitants of the region. in most classical texts, they are referred to as Libyans, and widely distributed and diverse ethnic group. The ancient Berbers spoke a subset of Indo-Eurasian languages, right? That's what vocab wants you to believe. They spoke an Indo-Eurasian language. No, the Berbers spoke an Afro-Asiatic language. So for them to be Caucasian white, right? They would have to be able to speak an Indo-Eurasian language. So if you look up the word Indo-Eurasian family of languages, you will not find any Africa or Asiatic, right? So the original Asiatic were not those China and Japan people, Moab and Ammon. The original people spanned the globe, right? The Hamitic, what they call in uh what's it called? Um Hindu Kush, I think it's called Hindu Kush. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. Is it Hindu Kush? Okay. Hindu Kush, right? Okay. You had the lighter complected Indians who were Japhetic, who came into the territories as well. Okay, now, but the Afro-Asiatics, right? That's the point. The Afro-Asiatics. So go back in here. So it says that the Berbers have occupied North Africa, specifically the Maghreb, since the beginning of recorded history and until the Islamic conquest, right? So it wasn't until the Islamic conquest that the Islam came into the region, because the region was already inhabited by a people that he calls what? Libyans, right? Now, who are the Libyans? Were they Caucasoid? No. Were they Hamites? Hamito? Cushitic? Yes. How do we know? Table of Nations. Go to Genesis, right? 10. All right, Genesis 10. Genesis 10, Genesis chapter 10, right? Go down here to the sons of Ham, right? And so the sons of Ham, it says are Cush, right? Mizraim, right? Foot, right? And Canaan. Now, here's the thing that most people don't get. Cush is not that little piece of property on the east coast of Africa.
What you bringing to the table, brother?
Cush is not that little piece of property with Haile Selassie, right? The Queen of Sheba didn't come from there. She didn't come from East Africa. That's a myth, right? The Queen of Sheba came from the land of Sheba, which is in the land of Cush, which is all in the territory, right? Including Saudi Arabia. Jethro, Moses, Shemaiah's wife, was from Cush, right? Midianites. All that was Cushite territory. Iran, Iraq, that was all Cushite territory, right? Okay? That was Cush territory. Now let's go back to the Table of Nations, because see, that's the thing. Somebody been telling us, been whitewashing history, trying to tell us a lie, make us think that, oh, we're not the people of the book. We're showing you through the scriptures, we're showing you through history that history provides proof text to the reality that the so-called Negroes originated in Asia and immigrated into Africa and was led into captivity, as the prophecy said, to the four corners, right? I know I'm right. Am I right?
Am I
I know that's right. All right, now, so let's go back in here. So Cush begot Sheba. There goes your Sheba right there. Cush begot Sheba, right? Sheba is Sheba. That's where the Queen of Sheba came from. She didn't come from Ethiopia, Haile Selassie territory. She came from Sheba, right? Thank you for that, Brother Dollars. Hit the like, share, subscribe, comment. Okay, y'all not commenting. Am I giving y'all too much? All right, now, so Cush, and then Mizraim, which also includes not just, look, brother, somebody better call vocab alone. He gonna learn today, boy, I'm telling you.
you gonna learn today?
Mizraim is not just simply Egypt. It's upper and lower, which also includes the Nubian population and some of the we call Sudan, right? Sudan, right? All of that. Let's go back. So we got who? We got Cush, Mizraim, and Foot. That's where I was going. Foot, right? So let's bring it home. Foot, right, is, he said, the foreign origin, Put, a son of Ham, also name of his descendants of their region and of a Persian tribe, right? So we're not going to deal with that Persian part, because that's where the dynamic changes, right? Foot was a Hamite. Okay? He wasn't a Caucasoid. He wasn't a Mongoloid. He was a Negroid. Okay. Now, so with that said, Foot is the one who inhabited the region. We're tying this together, doggone it, because he told us in here the Berbers did what? Their territory was in North Africa, right? The Berbers have occupied North Africa, specifically the Maghreb, since the beginning of recorded history until the Islamic conquest of the 8th century. Boom. So those were Hamites that was there already, right? Established people in a territory that you hear very few about, very little about, and everybody want to make that territory be Caucasian white. Biggest lie ever told, right? All right, let's go back in here now. All right. The Berbers occupied North Africa since the conquest of the Islamic, right? So that's where you get your Moorish Islamic as a result of Ishmael. Okay, he immigrated into Africa and he converted in the 8th century, right? A large portion, Lottie Dottie and everybody in North Africa, he converted them over into Islam. That's why we got practicing Muslims today as a result of the enslavement of our forefathers, right? Brother Dollars. I hear you, brother. I hear you. Um, Brother Terry, sorry for your loss, man. You on the bench with my Cowboys. Good to see you, my brother. All right. Let's see where I'm at. Where them fans at? Okay. I'm wrapping it up here. Let's see. I can hardly get all this stuff into a 2 hour session. So y'all already know a lot of stuff I haven't even covered yet. Okay, let me see. Let's try to expedite. Let's try to put the fast track on that. All right, okay. Modern Berber speaking culture practitioners are a minority in North Africa. Modern Berber speakers and cultural practitioners are a minority in North Africa, though Berber groups are considered the descendants of the pre-Arab inhabitants of the region. Say that again, right? The Berber groups are considered the descendants of pre-Arab inhabitants of the region. In most classical texts, they are referred to as Libyans, right? A widely distributed and diverse ethnic group in ancient Berber spoke a subset of Afro-Asiatic languages, linguistically related to the Egyptian, Kushite, Arab, Syrians, Levantine tribes, and Somalis. Wait a minute.
Wait a minute.
What did we just read? Did y'all see that? This article says the ancient Berbers spoke a subset of Afro-Asiatic languages linguistically related to the Egyptians, Kushites, Arabs, Syrians, and the Levantine tribes, and Somalis. Known to themselves as Amazigh, the Berbers take their more common name from the Latin barbarus, barbarian, a Roman effort to distinguish the less developed tribal societies of much of Europe and Africa from their own Hellenistic derived civilization. Libya is Greek word derived from the regional title and term came to be used interchangeably with the concept of Africa. So what did they do? They renamed, right? They renamed the sun Foot to Libya. That's why I can't find. There is no sun named Libya. Why is it that the historians want to change names? Right? They want to change names because they want to change the narrative because they want to tell you this is what it was. So, because if they can disconnect the North African region of Mauritania from the African Edenic speaking people, then we won't look at the connection and say, oh, wait a minute. They stole our language, so what's our native tongue? Certainly not the Anglo-Saxon. It certainly is not French. It's not Spanish. We got some German Hebrews up in Germany speaking German. We were stripped of our language, of our culture. We was put blinders over our eyes, and we were educated and informed with falsehood, right? 1619. Gentiles are going to come in that day and say, our fathers have inherited lies. They lied to you. They told you that North Africans weren't African. This man is telling you that the Moors were black. They were a combination of all those people that we showed you in Numbers 24, that Asher and Eber would be afflicted by the ships of Chittim and taken into that territory that they call Mauritania, that they regrouped and called other different names, right? they divided the land, right? And territorialized it, right? And gave us a false history, right?
What you bringing to the table, brother?
So the original indigenous people before the Arabs immigrated were Hamitic descendants of Foot, right? We learned that in Sunday school. When you look at the map, they show you all of the sons of Noah where they settled, right? They show you Mizraim, his descendant. They show you Cush, and they try to put Cush, they try to throw a Mickey in the drink and just limit Cush to being only on the other side of the river, on the west side. West side is the best side, right? Now,
You've been had. You've been took. You've been hoodwinked, bamboozled, led astray, run amok.
right, that's right. That's what happened there. So they tricked, bamboozled, hoodwinked us into believing their narrative that they gave us to think that, oh, they wasn't Africans. Because if history provides proof that the biblical Israelites, as well as we just showed you, the Canaanites, all those people, right? The Assyrians, not the Persians. Don't confuse the Assyrians with the Persians, right? The Syrians were Afro-Asiatic people. You don't believe me? Go watch that movie 300. They show you the Syrians. Matter of fact, I go a step further. Even the Persians weren't Caucasian white, even though they were Japhetic. I think it was the Persians was in the movie 300, not the Syrians. I'm confusing that with another documentary I saw called From Babylon to Baghdad. Y'all ever see that? It's a series called From Babylon to Baghdad. Okay. Where do I want to end here? Okay. So to answer the second part of the question as we prepare to close, okay, and that question was, so are the Moors Ishmaelites? Okay. The Moors are a combination of Hamitic, right? Shemitic, primarily prior to the invasion of the Vandals, scandals, and the invasion of the Arabs. Okay, so you got two types of Arab invasions, right? You got the original African Edenic Arabs, and then you have you have the Indo-Eurasian Arabs, right? Okay, so the lighter complexion came in when the Indo-Eurasian Arabs came into the territory, Mediterranean-looking people, and that's where the lighter complexion comes in. From that point forward, those were your Persian people. Okay, all right. So the Moors were not Israelites inclusively. They were not Moabites inclusively. Some of them were, some of them were not, right? So it's a terminology that's like saying every black person is not the same. Okay. I'm going to continue next week on the second part of this, which is the question was, uh, did they sell out the Negroes? Did they sell out the Negroes? Okay. And we're going to talk next week about those rich kingdoms, right? We're going to show you next week. Those rich kingdoms connect to those sons, and they were the ones that sold us into the European colonizers to bring us into American captivity, to bring us into the Western Hemisphere, right? So with that said, it's 11 o'clock, 11:06. I'm going to end. So tune in next Shabbat, right, for part 2, where we're going to address the second part of the question. Did the Moors sell out, or what was the question? Did they sell out the Negroes or the Hebrew Israelite people, right? Because if we were there in the land, there was a group of people that was sold, right? And incidentally, some of them may have been mistaken and might have went into captivity with us. That's why we have problems with some of the people who said, we're not Israelites. Maybe they were, in fact, Ishmaelites. Maybe they were, in fact. I mean, if they all looked alike, how would the enslaver know, oh, he's not an Ishmaelite, he's a Hebrew Israelite? How would the enslaver know that? They think all black people look alike. So it's a possibility that some of the people that came over on them ships might be Egyptians. Okay? So with that said, brothers and sisters, that's all I got for today. Told I Rabbi, Brother Digital, for the super chat. Brother, you make my day, man. You encourage me, you know. It just, to feel appreciated, it just goes a long ways, you know. I mean, I work hard, and I spend whatever free time I got in between my 14-hour day shift to try to put something together for the viewing audience, listening audience, right? So with that said, brothers and sisters, pray you got something out of this, and we're going to sign off. And does anybody want to come? See, we have this screen. Let me stop sharing my screen here. Okay. We have this opportunity for people to come. So I'm going to leave a space real quick. So if anybody wants to come and greet the people as we close, you want to offer reflections about what was shared today, and that, click that link. I'll bring you in. You don't have to do a lesson. You can just come in and just say, hey, brother, just came to say shalom, whatever. Greet the family, and let that be it. So if you want to come in, click that link there. I'll bring you in, let you have a piece of this space here, and praise Yah. All right. So I'll wait for a few moments to give you opportunity to click that. In the meantime, I'm going to do my exit.
TV down.
Oh.
Dude.
All right, all right, all right.
Oh man, I just have to go to the other room. You know what? Matter of fact, let me just unplug. Okay.
Yeah,
Shalom, can you hear me?
I hear you. Yeah.
Oh, okay, okay, man. That was an awesome breakdown today. We definitely
Oh,
do
told everybody.
need lessons like that, man, to bring us even closer to understand historical dynamic of our history. Uh-oh.
I hear you. I hear you.
Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, hey, I just want to say real quick, yeah, I don't do this often, man, but I wanted to, extend the invitation to everyone to check us out today at 1:30 sharp. Because I think that this is one of my most important lessons that I do in all of my library. Last Shabbat we had did the Apostle Paul, but apostle of what? Hey, did you catch any of it last Shabbat?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So we had to do a little mini lesson for those that are not familiar with what we represent, and we
Yeah.
represent Yah to the fullest, And it's a deep, it's a foundation that people have to understand the historical context of
Mm-hmm.
who Paul really was. But today, man, today is gonna be up on 1,000. It's gonna be crazy. But yeah, and so it's the Apostle Paul, but an Apostle of what? Part 2, subtitled Paul, the Founder of Christianity.
Right.
Because it's just that I've always, said for a long time concerning Constantine being the founder, but to a certain degree he is, but Paul, all by himself, is the actual true founder of Christianity. And we're going to see that big time today, man. So yeah, I just wanted to throw that out there today.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Well, hey, so the for those of you, just kind of give them a quick synopsis of your view of the Apostle Paul, so they kind of know where angle you coming from.
Oh, see now, let me see. I'm trying to figure out how I can do that because that's one of them things people ask you when they want to get a quick sound bite, and I'll be like,
Right.
I don't know I don't really know how to do that, man. You got to, follow along in terms of and but to make a long story short, in a Christian religion, those that are real deep in Christian religion, they have a understanding of the so-called church fathers, right?
Mm-hmm.
The church fathers, so-called church fathers that extend all the way to Constantine and maybe 100 years before Constantine. But the thing is that from what I can see from historical dynamic, they would have definitely had to have someone that was of a Hebraic ethnic and walk to kind of direct them to what evolved today as what we know as Christianity. So they was in Catholicism, they claim Peter to be the first pope. But I think they should have just might as well would have made Paul to be the first pope. Because Peter didn't stand for anything that is considered Catholicism today. But Paul, on the other hand, we're going to see the day of where a lot of these doctrines originated from.
So, do you think that the Hebrew Israelite people are exempt from that, falling into that trap?
You said, are we exempt from falling into it?
I'm saying from what you see in amongst the awakened community.
Well, I think to a certain degree, yeah, because here's the thing. This is what I want to talk about today. Everything is, and I really talked about it last Shabbat too, everything is a matter of perception. Perception. My foundation is going to allow me to see something one way, and not yours, but another person's foundation is going to cause them to see things another way. So I'm saying that to say that I remember prior to me, about 8 years ago, I think about 9 years ago, when I found myself putting words in Paul's mouth. And that's what we as Hebrew Israelites do, that we have done that. In fact, put words in Paul's mouth, because our foundation did not want us to believe that Paul spoke against the laws of the Most High. And so that's how we, for the most part, become victimized. Is that the word you use, victimized? That's how
Right.
we become that, because of perception. But when we have a clearer understanding of the historical dynamic of what was happening some 2,000 years ago, that can do away with perception, and now we have a clear understanding of what really was going on 2,000 years ago, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So,
But like
1:30.
Yeah, 1:30. Yep, that's when we should be up live.
Sounds good. I would go stream live, but man, I can't sit in front of the keyboard not another hour.
I hear you. I hear you. I hear you. Well, right now you got 2 hours of rest that you
Yeah.
can unwind right now.
Yeah.
That I would be doing, but I got to fine tune some stuff.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I certainly appreciate you coming on and sharing, inviting.
Mm-hmm.
So we definitely invite everybody to join in and give a shout out that you're I know, but give a shout out for those that's listening. We still got 20 people listening in. What's your channel?
Oh, the Spirit of Yah.
Mm-hmm. It's the Spirit of Yah.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And for those that are interested, what I'll do is I'll put the link to the channel
Okay.
in here.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So I can pull it up here. Let me see. I got the brother, Light to the Gentiles, asked me a question. He's been listening to uh what's the guy name? All Things Fulfilled. Uh what's that guy's name?
I don't know who that is.
William Bell.
Okay.
You never heard of him?
No.
He's got a approach that he says that everything is fulfilled, but that when the Messiah said that the problem he got was that the Messiah said that some of you standing here will not see death until you see the Son coming in all his glory.
Mm-hmm.
So his teaching is that happened. The Messiah came in his glory in 70 AD.
Right. See, again, that's perception. But he don't understand that when Yahshua come in his glory, he got an actual physical throne that he's going to sit on.
Mm-hmm.
Not only that, but he's coming to gather the elect from the four corners of the earth. See, a Christian perception is not going to have that understanding because
Right.
Christianity don't really teach that.
So I get right, and in the language too. I was trying to explain to him in the language, right? Did he say, "You that are here right now, you guys that I'm talking to right now," right? Was he talking to them, saying, "You not going to see death until you see me come"? And so when they saw the three tabernacles, that's where
Right,
that's what
right,
they said. Oh, that's the glory. There it is. Yeah, we saw
right.
it.
Well,
So that's
here's my understanding on that. And again, a lot of people are going to disagree because of perception. But when it comes down to scriptures, man, I don't even have a perception, man. I take it the way it is. I believe that Yahshua may have absolutely said that what he said, but this is the reason why when we read Matthew 24 and we read Luke 21st, which were talking about the same thing, but yet the timeline is skewed because of the fact that Yahshua, as he says, did not know when he would return. He says that. He said, only the Father know. I don't know. But that doesn't mean that he would not have had a thought, maybe even a belief that he would have returned in the disciples' lifetime. And I could show where even the disciples had a belief similar to that. So I believe that he was absolutely talking to the people that he was talking to there at that time. But the thing is, he really didn't know when he would return. And that's my take on that, because
mm-hmm.
the writings tell us that he didn't know when he would return. But, just like the whole dynamic of the commune that they had set up there in Jerusalem, where all things were as one, where we didn't, own anything. A lot of things that they did were absolutely an expectation of the kingdom. But those that were there that really understood scriptures knew that there was still a lot of prophecy that had to take place before the kingdom come. We're on this side of it, so we can really see, just like I think he said that, how the prophets desired to see some of the things that we see. Man, oh man, if they only knew. Shoot, those that was alive in first century CE, they hadn't seen nothing yet. But we're way on this side, man. When we read the prophets, man, our understanding is on a whole nother level compared to the things that they were prophesied about, but they had no reality in really seeing what the prophets were prophesying about, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody commented, it said that passage, they never keep reading. It said every eye will see him, not just a few.
Right. Right.
So the thing is that, like you said, you made an excellent point. Coming in all his glory means taking over. You got to connect, because when you see, we get real deep. You got to connect Daniel's prophecy,
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
when did the kingdoms of the world become the kingdoms of the Messiah?
There you go. There you go. There you go.
Certainly are you trying to say we in the kingdom of the Messiah now with all this crazy hate filled
Mm,
wickedness going on?
right. See, that goes right in line with the people, and like you say, even Hebrews that foolishly think that we're in the new covenant right now. Too
Right,
many scriptures in that book, man, let us know what the new covenant looks like.
right,
And it looks nothing like you can't be in captivity being in the new covenant.
right,
You can't even be in America being in a new covenant.
right.
So again, it's all about perception. If your perception is lack of scriptural knowledge, then you're gonna see it in the way that you see it. But if you understand it from a historical dynamic, that changes your whole perception.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Hmm.
So I mean, I don't know. I mean, when you get somebody that's strongly intellectually presenting something as is true and it's not clear, but they become manipulative in persuading people to believe what they're saying is right. Because I don't know if you ever saw the brother. The brother presents himself as as an
No, I
intellectual
never
type.
heard of him. I'm like what the brother asked. Is he a Gentile or Hebrew or what? I never heard of him.
Uh, he is he is he's a Hebrew. Yeah,
Okay.
he's around our age group.
Do you know where he's out of?
I don't specifically know. I know that we've never had any interactions, but people
Yeah.
have
Uh-huh.
told me, people that follow him ask me what I think
Okay.
about him. And he's debated, from what I've heard, he's debated some Hebrew Israelites, and according to them, he ate them up.
Oh, wow. Well, it definitely wasn't about this topic.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's all he teaches. His channel is called All Things Fulfilled. So
Oh,
all the prophecies are fulfilled. There's nothing left to be done. Everything's been fulfilled.
okay. That's crazy.
So there's not going to be no ingathering of Israelites from the four corners.
So he's not a Hebrew Israelite man.
No, he's not. No,
Oh, okay. Okay.
he comes with the concept that we're living in the kingdom age now. We're already in the kingdom age.
Hmm. Yeah. But like I say,
So
that comes from perception. He don't want to, or he never entertained the thought that Yahshua, really didn't believe that he wasn't gonna come back like in their lifetime. But all you can do is believe as it's written. You know what I'm saying? You have to believe what's written there.
yeah,
You can't have a perception or a religion that's not gonna allow you to see the historical truth of what's there.
okay. I'm gonna see if I can find a link of him.
Hmm.
Those, but he's a. I think. Let me see if I can find his profile. I think he's a Christian urban theologian, but he's not on the. He's kind of like vocab Malone is, but because they're into supersessionism, right? So it's a division. It's a derivative of the supersessionism.
Okay. Remind me what is that again? I've heard it, and I've kind of it escapes me what that exactly is.
What supersessionism?
Yeah.
Israel replacement theology.
Oh, replacement theology. Oh, okay. Enough said.
He's a. It says William Bell is the founder of and president of allthingsfulfilled.com. He's got a website which focuses on the completed redemptive work of Christ and fulfilled Bible prophecy. He recognizes discrepancies in eschatology teaching in 1979 and became a dominant influence in spreading fulfilled Bible prophecy through his writings, radio ministries, blogs, videos, and workshops. Yeah, so he got a website. Let's see, this is his website here.
Okay, yeah, but you said pretty much enough. He wanted, that's his thing. You want to believe everything is fulfilled. Wow. Just like even in which I'm gonna probably quote today as I quoted it last Shabbat. Luke 24:44, paraphrasing, and then he opened up that understanding of the scriptures, that everything
Right.
that's written in the law, in the Psalms, and in the prophets concerning me, has been fulfilled. Well, see, Yahshua was actually not really even correct when he made that statement, because everything that's written in the law and the prophets and the Psalms concerning him has really not been all fulfilled.
Right.
See, a lot of people don't want to believe the actual factual truth, but that is the actual factual truth. What was written to him concerning him coming and him confirming the covenant for many
Mm-hmm.
and dying for the sins of the people, that's obviously been fulfilled. But the prophet said a whole lot more regarding Hamashiach than just those things, which we're still waiting on.
Oh, Lion Pride talking about William Bell. So I think he's familiar with William Bell. He said he collected money. But the thing is that, yeah, I mean, when you've been around and you've seen it all, I we both know people that was in this truth and they no longer in this walking in it. They caught up in the Egyptology and caught up in all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
Because when you're not fully persuaded, you're easy to be led away.
Right. Right. Or even more so, which I believe this was the case of Paul himself, when you have made the truth to be embodied by a certain group of people that really don't represent the truth, that steers you away as well. If
Mm-hmm.
that makes sense.
Yeah. The I mean, there's some things are just common logic, common sense. I mean, you don't have to have a scholarly approach or have any knowledge, theological knowledge to just read something that's just simple, common,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? It's just like we talk about the new. So you on the road.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm headed in. Yeah.
All right, well I'm gonna let you go. Then go ahead and concentrate on that
No,
road.
finish your thought. I want to hear your thought.
Um,
You were talking about common knowledge. It's just knowledge, common knowledge.
Right, it's just common sense because it's like I mean when you're reading and comprehension, you don't have to be a scholar. It's like you and I having a conversation and you say something and I take it somewhere else and you're like, well, that's not what I'm talking about. So a lot of times people reading something in the text, they're taking it somewhere where it don't belong.
Right, and that's why it says perception, because the background of their perception was built around a certain group or individual, and it's hard to get out of that unless the Father sends someone or even open up their mind to be able to escape that. But that what's the word? That indoctrination is a hard thing to shake.
And you know what I'm finding out too? A lot of that goes back to the early church fathers. It's part of what they was teaching.
Right, right,
It's not original.
right,
He didn't just wake up one day and say, "Oh, all things have been fulfilled." No, he got it from the church fathers.
right.
They was they was ones that saying that the church replaced Israel and everything's fulfilled in Jesus. Just believe in Jesus and you are now the new Israel.
Well, okay, but see, here's the thing. Here's the thing. Me and you, or a lot of Hebrew Israelites, we could go into Paul saying, "Well, I'm a of the tribe of Benjamin, circumcised 8 days old, and have Yah cast away his people, Yah forbid." We're very familiar with those passages there. And
Hmm.
I come to understand that in the book of Romans, that was because a lot of Hebrews he was actually writing to Hebrews even in the book of Romans. Yeah,
Right,
I recently like found that out, which is why he says a lot of real good things in the book of Romans, but then when he's dealing with the Gentiles, there's some instances where he make these Gentiles who are now under the blood of Yahshua, whatever, that y'all are even more so than than Israel,
right,
and that really was the seed that the church fathers took that build on that whole replacement theology. Even though
hmm,
he might have not been intending to do that, I can see where Gentiles would definitely pick up on that and be like, "Wow, hey, y'all, y'all are really, y'all are really the cursed ones. We're not cursed. We're in Christ, or whoever. We're in Christ, or whatever." And
yeah,
I could definitely see that in Paul's writings to the Gentiles. He really elevated the Gentiles. And in
right,
some cases, he did elevate them above Israel, the natural branches, in some cases, except in the book of Romans. In the book of Romans, he don't play that. But with him being all things to all people, that was just kind of his way of teaching.
right.
Uh-huh.
Well, just like the simplicity of just it's just simple. it that's why I can't get away from saying it. It's just some things are just simple.
Yeah.
It's not complicated. It's just simple, and like even because reason why I asked a question about some Hebrews, some of our Israelite people, they embrace what Paul says over what the Messiah said.
Absolutely. 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 But it's so easy to do when you look at what we got and the indoctrination that we were all born under. That it's real easy because we all at one point or another been subjected to that without even thinking about it.
Yeah.
You know.
So it's kind of like um, And this is where I get in trouble with the sisters. You know, they quick to embrace something that Paul said. That's what Paul said. Let the women be silent. You know, what about that part? You embrace what Paul said when it comes to that. Oh, you don't embrace that part. You gotta pick and choose what Paul said that you're going to follow.
Yeah, yeah.
Paul says Paul said it's better for a man to not be married.
Right. That's right. Yep.
The Most High said it's not good for a man to be alone, but Paul said it's good for
Oh
a man
man,
to be
come
alone.
on. What?
Who's right?
Right.
If
Who's
Paul,
right? That's right. Who's right? 'Cause that's definitely two separate statements being made now. So come on.
and down to even the thing with the circumcision, right? Paul says, no, I'm getting to see a lesson now. I'm gonna let you do your lesson today.
Man, come, hey, but you know what? Hey, go ahead. That's right, Paul. Paul made some statements about circumcision for sure. But see, like you say, now see that right there? That's the reason why I'm saying that those statements that he made concerning circumcision are just some of the things that built into uh, uh, what you call it, reverse theology, or what was it called?
Mm-hmm.
Or the sessionicism, whatever
Yes,
you said.
supersessionism. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, see those statements that he made about circumcision itself fed into that whole theology.
Right. But like you said, I mean, if the Most High told Abraham, first off, the whole issue wasn't about him having a spiritual seed, because if that was the case, that would have been the end of the beginning. And he said, "Oh, Elazar, he is your heir. He is your seed, your spiritual seed."
Right. That's right. That's right. Right. Right.
But the Most
Hey,
High
and
didn't say.
that's the same thing with Miriam being of the house of David. So that's why Yeshua came out of her, which fulfilled the promise of David. That's the same dynamic right there.
Mm-hmm.
When Miriam ain't had nothing to do with that.
Right. Unless you follow the Talmud.
Okay, right. Right.
And then the mother, you got to have a mother. You have to be born through a mother who was converted to Judaism.
Right. If that's the case, like you say, Sarah could have went and got another man and got pregnant and been like, here you go, Abraham. Here it is.
Yeah. Right. He's sanctified because I'm converted.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, supersessionism. That's what replacement theology is. That's the technical
Right.
term for
Super
supersession.
specialism. Right. Gotcha. Uh-huh.
But that's what that all things fulfilled has its birth in. Uh, One day I actually started write some notes on that because I know a lot of people haven't come in contact with this brother, but the concept is out there among other people,
Yeah.
and you can tell who they listen to because they coming from that angle. Like, you know what? We in bad shape till everything's fulfilled.
Man, look, yeah, kill me now.
Look, I went out.
Man, everything written in the law and the prophets was a lie.
Right. And you got the people saying, "Oh, the slave trade never happened."
Uh,
So how do we get to the four corners then if the slave trade never happened?
yeah, that was a recent thing I saw where I think they said Candace Owens said that the white people ain't had nothing to do with slavery or some crap like that.
She better tune into any Hebrew Israelite channel during this Black History season. She'll
Well, I'm
learn.
like, wait, if white white people ain't got nothing to do with slavery, then how did you get the name Owens then? Help me
Right.
out with that.
She came from the Owens plantation. Mr. Owens over here. You know,
Yep.
you had the white Owens and you had the black Owens. He had manumission papers that set him free.
Mm-hmm.
That's how somewhere up my tree, like four generations back, somebody had manumission papers that gave them
Oh,
freedom.
wow.
Yeah.
Wow. How many years ago?
Like 1695, something like that.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
1695?
Yeah.
Man, it wasn't even no America in 1695. Damn.
All right. Well, they came over
Really?
here from see, a lot of people came through Maryland. I might cover that during the series. A lot of people came through the Caribbeans. They came up to North America from the Caribbeans.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Because the Joneses was a surname for Israelites.
Okay.
Yeah, Joneses was because you got Joneses in your tree, and I got Joneses
Yeah,
in
that's
my
okay on my mom's side. Yes, my maternal name.
right. It was a surname.
Yeah.
Jones Jones and Johnson were the same people.
Uh-huh.
One took the name Johnson, one took the name Jones, but it goes back
Now
to
that's weird 'cause I got Johnsons on my paternal side.
yeah, Johannes. Johnson goes
Uh,
back to Johannes. I was reading it goes back to Johannes.
yeah.
Let me,
Wow.
let me see if I can let me see if I can pull the rabbit out of the hat real quick.
Johannes Ben, huh?
Let me see if I can pull something out on that in my notes. Let me see. Yes. Surnames. Okay, here we go. Where'd it go? It's populating. This was a big I do Google Gemini. I be asking Google Gemini questions, and he be going into great detail.
Mm.
Yeah, Johannes. It says Johannes was a German form of Jones. Jones was an Anglican Anglican
Anglican. Anglican.
right of Johann. It says it's a Johann found in the port cities like Baltimore and Annapolis, where Sephardic traders from the Caribbean or England docked. So we got a lot. So like Barbados, Barbados. What's the other place? Trinidad.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a lot of ancestral history. The Jones and Johnsons directly from the Sephardic slave trade.
Yeah.
They say Johannes was the Latinized Germanic form of the Hebrew Johann. It says that Baltimore became a major port for German Jews. Many families with names like Johannes arrived there, while these were primarily Ashkenaz, Central Europeans. Some Sephardic families who had lived in North Europe for generations, like the Western Sephardic or Hamburg, Amsterdam, used these Latinized forms. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and sign off. Go ahead and get on down the road, man. I'm gonna go ahead and sign off.
All right. Hey, well, shalom, man. I hope everyone within the sound of my voice enjoy the rest of their Shabbat and the rest of their weekend.
Yes, sir. We'll see you at the same time, same channel.
Okay, all right.
See you in a few minutes. All right.
All right, shalom.
Shalom. All right, brothers and sisters. For the 16 people that still left in, I'm gonna go ahead and um, shut down the stream. We'll close it out officially in prayer. Father, thank you for those that join us today. This live stream, those that come later on. We pray the peace to pass all comprehension, keep our hearts and minds through Yeshua Messiah. To meet again at the point in time, we say hallelujah, 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 Torah, amen.